Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Another lovely night in Melbourne. It's tough times never last, and tough people do. Thank you very much for watching. We started this probably about 5 years ago. It used to be called A Life in Crime, and people say, why, Michael? Not about the ego, but just to inspire people who are going through some tough issues with some of our wonderful and beautiful guests who share their stories. On tonight's show, we've got the lovely Alita Howe. She's back. And we've got a very special guest, Michael Kuzilny, who watched this show in prison. He was very down, he was very isolated, and he said some of the people inspired you, Michael. And you emailed me. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. We've got Michael K and Michael V.
That's correct.
Having a bit of fun. And we get rid of the fear now, because everyone in life has this fear, haven't they? All their way, they're always worried about something, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're gone.
There's nothing really to fear except fear itself. Once you accept it and you acknowledge it and move on, it dissipates.
That's it, Mick. Now, from the start, armed robberies, crime, years in prison, what led to that life in crime, bro, initially?
Well, it probably all starts, like, some people are born criminals, some are made criminals, and some just become criminals. I was probably one of the ones that factors, dysfunctional family that led me into, like, basically from shoplifting to vandalism to stealing cars, progressing to more more criminal activities.
Mum and Dad were together or no?
On and off.
Alcoholics, drunks, drugs?
No, pretty good people, just Catholics.
Interesting. And we won't say too much about that because...
so a religious spin on it.
Isn't that amazing about religion, folks? You know, all these groups, it's the politics of numbers, isn't it? Some people try to give you too much of that stuff, but we won't discuss politics or
parents
or religion on this show.
Definitely.
Because once somebody said they're going to sue us, you know, about something. We don't want the Catholic Church coming down. Father Bob will get us. But tell us, bro, then, you got onto the drugs.
No, I actually didn't get on the drugs, and I just got into basically binge drinking consecutively, like going out weekend and weekend, getting wasted with my friends, going to, like, blue light discos, and then after it, probably being chased by the dog squad, smashing up bus stops, to vandalism, to vandalising trains, just acting out and getting into all sorts of trouble.
Isn't it funny how many times I've heard blue light discos have started people's drinking habits? I think I started drinking at the blue light discos. I don't know what...
I got wasted once at a blue light disco.
But is that the police run thing? I'm not saying anything about the thing, but I don't know. That's not. It doesn't seem...
But they started when all the boys used to go in there and get smashed anyway. That's
it happens.
But those were the old days, of course. But
so alcohol is what... It was binge drinking that was your choice.
Michael, when was the first time when you were standing in that dock at the county court or the magistrate's court and you got a pretty tough sentence behind bars? Well,
it happened when I was about 17, when I got sentenced to, I think, 8 years, 9 months at a young age to be taken, to have that just smashed on the table, sort of was a reality bomb. And once the fuse is lit, you just... You know, at the end of the night, the door shuts and you're in there and you're watching TV and you're talking to people on the other end of the phone and their lives are moving on, but you're stuck in a void. It's how you deal with that time, and some people in there, they don't handle it too well.
How did you handle it?
Yeah.
How did I handle it? Initially, I got involved in a lot of problematic stuff because there was a lot of problematic...
Fighting and that?
You name it, from... You know, lighting fires to incidents with other prisoners and staff and stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine, folks, like you're stuck in a cage and you can't get out, and people's lives are moving on the outside, and you think, shit, you know, am I going to kill myself, or
and at the age
am
of
I
17,
going to? You know, I can imagine because nobody wants. You know, you want to be in control of your own life. You know, you don't want other people to pull your string. And I suppose you thought for the next decade, once again, it's people telling me what to do.
Yeah, those initial years after that, I sort of moved on from that stage. I started, like, sort of growing from within and learning. Some things you've got to be hit a couple times before it hits you, and you sort of start realising where do I change things. And then I met a nice lady, and things, you know, I finally got my life on track, and I studied.
What did you
learned some
study then?
stuff. I studied things from English literature to mathematics because I didn't have like much of a degree. I ended up getting a diploma in literature and mathematics and English literature and
God bless you, mate. That's amazing.
mechanics, welding and textile fabrication, screen printing and art.
What, just getting back to, well, that's amazing because you really utilise your time, like for such a young man in extreme conditions. When you get sentenced at 17, is it straight to juvie or do you go to the actual prison? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Michael, did you go to juvie?
Depending on the circumstances
17,
of the offence and the criminality involved in the history of the offender, some offenders have faced, if they've got a history as a juvenile, serious crimes and stuff like that, prison's an opportunity.
Did you go when you were 17?
I went to prison.
Oh gosh, it's just.
Hey, Michael, congratulations. You got out 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I saw your lovely lady and you rocked up hand in hand. You had a great Valentine's Day.
Definitely.
She got a good woman by your side there.
Oh, definitely stuck by me through the whole time.
Yeah, tell me about that. How did she? A lot of women take off and they forget about their blokes in there. You know.
Yeah,
they start. You know.
Seen the milkman, stuff
other
like
blokes
that.
start moving in. You know, back on the workbench, mate. You know.
Jim the gardener pops
Jim the
through.
gardener. You know, they all start turning
It
up.
can be a very...
And even your mates, even the backstabbing mates start turning up. But what about your lovely woman? How did she? How did that loyalty continue?
As she never missed a visit, she always come out on time. It's hard because you got to book visits, stuff like that. She always there's a lot of security rigmarole for your visitors to go past through security checks sometimes, dog squads, etc., because drugs can be they're a problematic issue in regards to.
And he's only young,
in
Michael, isn't he? He's got a long life to go, and we might talk about his life after the next break. We'll be back very shortly on Tough Times with Michael V.